I'm DJ. This is Garrett, and we did a mathematician named William Ferrel, not the comedian, but the bald guy who lived in the 1800s. So
Alright, so he was born in Pennsylvania around 1820 or something like that. His father operated a sawmill, and his name was Ben Ferrel. His mother, we don't know much about her. We know her last name was Miller. That's really all we can
yeah,
get.
no one really knows
Yeah,
what her first name is, but that's okay. So Will was the oldest son, born on the farm, in Pennsylvania, and he worked with his father in the sawmill, until he was about 10, and they moved into what would be modern day West Virginia.
So he didn't get much formal schooling because they were kind of a poor family, but he went to the library almost every day and taught himself a lot. Like, he was really dedicated to learning. He had to walk 4 miles every day there and back to get to the library.
I mean, so that's 8 miles just to read. So yeah, it's pretty intense. And so he moved to Tennessee when he was 20 and started his own school to make money for his education. And when he earned enough, he went to Marshall College for 2 years. But because of his lack of money, he had to leave school and go back to Tennessee and teach for 2 more years until continuing his education at Bethany College, where he completed his education.
And then after that, he got a job teaching in Liberty, Missouri from 1844 to 1850. And then he went to Allensville, Kentucky, and he taught for 4 more years. And while he was in Kentucky, he saw this partial eclipse, which inspired him to do some mathematical work with the moon.
Mm-hmm. And it was while he was in Liberty, around 1850, 1851, that he ordered a copy of Newton's Principia, which was a very famous book at the time. And after studying this, he started forming his own theories about the tides, and then he tied his fascination with the moon to his theories about tides, and helped link the two together, which is the theory that we use today.
So, he realized that this one guy who wrote Newton's Principia, his name was Laplace, that was his last name,
Mm-hmm.
he was incorrect in something. He didn't state in the book that the action of the moon and the sun upon the tides must have a tendency to retard the Earth's rotation on its axis. And so, Ferrel tested that, and he applied Newton's law of equal and opposite reactions. And
which makes a lot of sense, considering that no one had really been to the moon. There aren't any satellites
so
yet.
they had no way of
so I mean, he was really smart in doing this. So using this in 1856, he published an essay on the winds and currents of the ocean, in a journal called the Nashville Journal, where he became the chief founder of the subject of geophysical fluid dynamics, proposed a model of wind circulation in the middle latitudes, and so that marked a major step in the understanding of middle latitude wind circulations. And the middle latitudes are like the 10 degrees right around the equator.
Yes, this is the equator. There'd be right up
this much space. And then another guy did the upper and lower middle latitudes, up here. And then another guy did the poles at the top and bottom. So those three kind of combined to do their wind circulations, and which affected the current circulations.
And so Ferrel's theory specifically involved what's now called a Ferrel cell. It's a cell that was named after him. It's basically a wind cell that flows toward the pole and eastward near the Earth's surface, and towards the equator and westward at higher altitudes, which is basically meaning it's almost like if you rip paper, they'll flow
the two halves flow in opposite directions. So he's saying that if the Earth is spinning right and the wind is blowing left, that the air currents will split towards the poles, which makes just a ton of sense. And so this law is now called the Buys-Ballot law, after the Dutch meteorologist Christoph H.D. Buys-Ballot, who proposed this law and further refined it, but acknowledged Ferrel's studies to part of the contribution of this theory. So that's pretty much Will Ferrel in a nutshell. Nutshell. Nutshell.
Nutshell.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, that's working.
Okay. So I'm DJ. That's Garrett. And our mathematician, his name is William Ferrel. Not the comedian, but the old bald guy that lived in the 18th century. Alright, we're just gonna keep it going. Okay. Hey guys, my name's DJ. This is Garrett, and we did a mathematician named William Ferrel. Not the...
You've said that so many times.
Woo!
It's just gotten out of your system.
It's gotten out of me!
Alright, take three.
Take 3. Okay, alright.
You still call me super